Here are 3 films that have impacted me the most this year for my own work as a director. These are all well-known films that you've probably seen, but it was my first time watching them. First of all, Margin Call. I thought this looked like something that I would enjoy, and I absolutely loved it. It was totally my style. I was surprised by how they just stuck with this kind of very intimate narrative of a group of people going about their business. It all takes place in a 24-hour period, I think, and it's very focused on what this group of men and women are dealing with in their work and how that kind of spills over into their personal lives. I think the biggest thing I took away from it was the non-specific dialogue in terms of how they address the setting. It feels like it could be a real story about a real company, and I know it's based on some real events, but they never name a specific company, they just call it The Firm. So I thought that was very clever, how they could refer to stuff but not give you specific names so that it keeps it a fictional story and you just focus on what the characters are actually going through. Number 2, Superbad. Now, I just thought I would watch this. I don't usually watch this kind of sort of teen comedy sort of movie. I really enjoyed it, a lot more than I expected. I think my biggest takeaway from Superbad was that it has a controlled environment, actually similar to Margin Call. It all takes place over one night. And so within that environment, you can do some really intense sort of deep dive storytelling into what's happening hour by hour during that one night, and it all takes place in this one neighborhood. I really liked that kind of intimate scale of the film. And the third film I'd say for this year that's impacted me most is Casino Royale. Now, I'd never seen it before, but I just watched some clips on YouTube, and I've obviously seen a lot of other James Bond films, but I'd heard that this was the one to watch. And sure enough, it's probably my favorite Bond film. It was really, really good. And I think my main takeaway was how gritty and grounded it is. There's this one scene that really stuck with me, which I'd never seen before, which is when he's in an airport and the fire alarms go off and all these showers turn on, so everybody in the airport's getting soaked. And there was this sequence where James Bond is walking down a corridor, pushing through this crowd of people, and they're all running the other way, and they're all soaked by the emergency fire showers. And I thought, first of all, that must have been a nightmare to film, but also, how often do you get to see something like that in kind of a fast-paced action adventure? And there were so many other things as well, like his relationship with Vesper and all of the kind of very grounded human moments in their relationship, and it all made it feel a lot more kind of authentic and natural. Whether it's a thriller or a fantasy or a comedy or an action film or whatever you're making, you can still ground it in something that feels very authentic and human. And that's always what I'm trying to do with my work. If you ask anyone that's worked with me, I'm basically trying to make fiction films feel like documentaries in how grounded and authentic they are.